Hello all, welcome back to Consciousness Rising. I know I've been saying for a while in my video and sort of joking that I was going to get around to doing another one on tarot. Finally I found the time to do it. Um, but yeah, I'm going to go through the major arcana. And I know this has been done by lots of other people, but I just want to kind of put my own spin on it. And I've um, I've learnt from a lot of people the tarot, but you can learn from so many different people on the tarot. You can read books and books and books on it, but the beauty of the tarot is to really follow your intuition and see what you feel about what comes up for you. Whether you're doing a spread or just picking random cards. I often, the way I've been doing it lately actually, is just to pick a card in the morning. With the mindset of what do I need to know right now. What do I need to know? What needs to be brought to my attention? And it can reveal things. It can get you to question yourself on a deeper level. It's a very reflective tool. And as I said in my other video on the tarot, that it's a means of using symbolism to read yourself. Really, that's how I use it. I use tarot as a psychological tool, not so much for divination per se. Although I do know a system, Michael Tsarian's system, of where you can cards on houses it's called, where you can use your birth date and come up with a yearly chart which will show, and it's very very good. It'll show what's coming up for you, different things like that. I can do them for people. If you want one of them, give us a shout. I only need your date of birth and I can give you a spread on that. But um, other than that, I mainly use it for psychological growth. And I'm going to go through the major arcana, which are the big secrets of the deck, if you like. There's 22 cards, and obviously you start with the Fool. So I'm going to get started. I will be using the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, because although I do use the Crowley-Toft deck a lot, actually quite a lot lately, I want to use this because I think this deck is the easiest one to get your head round, and the images are just stunning. I love the artwork. The first thing to say about the Fool, before I even go into really what I feel about the actual image itself, what makes this card so fascinating to me is the Golden Dawn. When they came and came up with this system, they called the Fool the Zero card. Now that in itself is extremely significant because the zero is like, it's nothingness. So out of zero comes somethingness. So it's almost like when I lay out the major arcana, and I have done, I always put the Fool outside of it. Although he is part of it, he's also outside of it because he's the zero. He has no number. He is also, to me, it's circular because not only is he the zero, um, he's also the 22. So what happens in the major arcana? You've got 22 cards. You end up back at the Fool. So when I think of the Fool, I think being zero is very, very significant. He also, in a strange way, encompasses all the major arcana. Um, and actually, what I want to do in this presentation to start with is draw your attention to the zero. As in, when you look at and I often do, look at numbers, look at the actual shape of the number. Now, the zero is circular, and that is very significant because um, a circular can involve a journey, a return, and in a way the Fool is very much, but the fact that he is the 0 and the 22, he is the start and the return. He can be both. He can be whatever you need him to be on whatever you feel about when he pops up into your cards. It's a magnificent card. Also want to say something about 1111 because often people talk about 1111. Well, when you add up at 11 and 11, you get the 22, which to me is a start of something or an ending of something. It's that 1111 has been used a lot. People talk about 1111 a lot, don't they, as being a sort of significant number, and it is significant because it adds up to 22. Whenever I use numerology, I use it alongside with the tarot. And actually, some things that are hidden in films to do with numerology, once you apply tarot to them, they become very, very interesting. And I'm hoping to do that soon with a film breakdown. But Yeah, so he's also, he's 1111. He's 20. He's a special. He's quite a special, significant card and image. And just sticking with that thing of zeros, I'm gonna just draw your attention to where else circular motifs appear in different traditions, because the circle is very important to many other traditions, which you'll see here. Okay, so here, the circle Native Americans used for circular pattern for the medicine wheel. So I know, yeah, that's a circle, which is also, if you think about zero, that is also very significant. Um, it appears here in this is a mandala, which again they're very powerful tools to use in themselves. They're often circular. Well, they're nearly always circular, and they come from Sanskrit. And the word mandala actually means wheel. So we're talking about wheels here, and wheel of life, wheel of whatever you want to think. Circle is also a wheel. And actually, when you come to the universe card, which I'll come to eventually when I do all the major arcana, you'll see that that does go full circle, and then you are thinking about a wheel, and the circle does appear in other cards through the deck. It's also there, the flower of life. People use this symbol a lot, don't they, and call it sacred. Well, it's also circular. So zero, circular again. This is Carl Jung's model of the psyche. Again, it is circular. Circles appear everywhere, and they're very significant, and that's all I really wanted to draw your attention to there. So when I think of the zero on the full card, I think of it in a circular term. So back to him now. So one thing you'll notice about him is that, to me, he sort of feels like he's on a journey. Again, at a start, or has he been on one? Is he at the end of a journey? Is he actually the fully enlightened soul? Because look at his gait, it's playful, it's not serious, it's very sort of innocent in a sense, like when we're children and we're born, and we tend to lose that as we go through life, don't we? We tend to lose that innocence, but is that actually enlightenment? I've heard it called that before. I never forget. I can't remember who said it, but he went to see a sort of sage-like figure, and the sage said to him, "You know why there's not many enlightened souls on this planet, don't you?" And he said, "Why?" He said, "Because it's so damn easy. Is it joy? It's surrender. It's, a playfulness. There is a playfulness about his gait. Um, he's got that flowing gown. Also interesting to point out the sun. Solar. It's very solar energy. The yellow background. There's mountains in the background. Again, has he been on a journey? Has he completed his quest? Is he at the end of it? Or is he at the beginning, the 0 and the 22? He also strikes me very much as in it, I think I mentioned the word just now, but in a sort of state of surrender. So yes, it's someone who is quite playful and sort of walking in that very strange gait that he has, but his arms are outstretched in surrender. Is he surrendering to the universe? Is he surrendering to the natural forces around him? He's not fighting them. He's playfully walking along. Yes, he's also at the edge of a cliff, which could be, is he going to fall? Is he a fool because he's going to fall? That's another way of looking at it. Is he so confident that is he too confident? And actually, he's too much looking up when he should be looking down. There's loads of questions that can come from this when you draw this card. The dog, the dog actually could represent Anubis, which interestingly was the overseer of the rites of passage. Now, some have said about the major arcana, the 22 cards of the major arcana, and indeed all the tarot, the whole 78 deck, as rites of passage. So is he about to start his rites of passage, and Anubis is watching over him? Okay, which again goes back to Egyptian folklore. These cards, often people say that they were invented by gypsies. I think that's a load of shit. These cards are very, very ancient, and they go way, way, way back to times that we're, who knows? It is a mystery, but I think there's definitely Egyptian Egyptian stuff in these cards without a shadow of a doubt. His gown is flowing with the wind. You know, is he seeking enlightenment? Because actually he's carrying a bag there, but his bag is empty. It doesn't look like it's very full. So to me, that could say also that, you know, he's about to start his journey. This is why it's such an interesting card. The fact that it is the 0, because it stands outside of the other cards in the major arcana. So to me, very significant that it's a beginning and an ending, or either or, depending on how you feel when you draw the card. He also has a sort of head in the clouds sort of look, as I sort of said before, but his feet are planted on the earth. Is he in balance? Is he in balance with the natural forces? There is something very innocent about the card. Is it to do with, often I think when this card comes out, I often see it as is it a leap of faith? Is he about to take a leap of faith? Because he doesn't look unconfident in his gait or in his sort of the way he's holding himself. Nothing about him looks unconfident. Or is he too naive? Like I said before, is he going to fall? But I often think about a leap of faith, and sometimes when it comes up in reference to whatever you questioned the tarot, it can be that, yeah, maybe this is right. Maybe you should take that leap of faith. Be the fool. You know, walk on with confidence and surrender to what's happening around you. You know, there's so much in these images. It's just unbelievable. I'm sure I'll miss things. I will miss things, and I'll probably leave the comments section open. I rarely do that. I sometimes do it for a couple of days just to see if someone wants to ask me a question. But with these, I might leave them open. And if you want to add something, please do. Because I'm not I don't think you can be a master of tarot. Well, there are people that are very, very well skilled in it, but there's always something to learn. And I love to hear other people's viewpoint. The other interesting thing about the Fool, when a lot of people don't realise, but traditional playing cards that we have are 50. I think there's 52, isn't there, in a traditional pack, and you get a Joker card. Well, the Joker card is the Fool, because actually the playing cards actually stem from the tarot. The tarot being as ancient as it is, they actually took the magic out by reducing it to 52 and taking a lot of the symbols down to just, spades, clubs, diamonds and hearts, which killed a lot of the beautiful symbology of it and the way that it works with the right brain by making it so limited, which was disastrous, really. And again, I said before, didn't I? A true tarot deck has 78 cards, and it's the Book of Life. It's a book. The tarot is a book of life. These cards can come out in any order. Whenever I approach a sort of tarot reading for myself, I always approach it with the mindset of what will come out is meant to come out. And it's up to me to interpret how I take those lessons on board. I think it was Thomas Sheridan who said, what was it he said? He said, the tarot never lies to you, so don't lie to the tarot. So sometimes the cards will show you things that you might not want to see, but you have to have the bravery to go and see them and address them. That's why you can do shadow work with tarot. You can use it in so many different ways. And going back to what I was saying, yeah, I've gone off track a bit. The fact that in the normal traditional 52 playing cards, he is the Joker. Look at him there. Is he actually a jester? Is he a minstrel? Is he someone who laughs at life? We all need to learn that, I think, sometimes. I've often said that people are too serious. I think, there are some serious things happening in life all the time, and there are times that we have to be serious, but we also need to remember that inner child, that innocence, that playfulness, that sort of surrender. Like I say, I can't, But yeah, the 0. The 0 to me is what makes this card so special in a sense, because it is outside of. Is it pre-birth? Is it before you're born? Before you take the journey of life? Is it a pre? Or is it indeed an end? Is his bag empty because he's used up all his provisions on his journey? Also, someone pointed out, and I tend to agree, that cane that he's carrying, that has the bag attached to it, that could be seen as a phallic symbol. Is it masculine? You'll notice as well with a lot of the cards, sometimes they appear androgynous. Now, I think, I don't know if I've said this before, but that is the merging of I'm sure I have, the left and right hemisphere. It's spiritual androgyny that they're talking about, not just this, oh, I'm changing my gender depending on how I feel on the day and all that crap and nonsense. It's spiritual androgyny, which is the coming together of both hemispheres to get beyond duality. You know, interesting looking at his gown now. You know, they almost look like sun rays or something cosmic about, or flat, you know, or flowery about the actual design of his gown. It's very loose and free fitting, and it does remind me of a minstrel or a jester. He's carrying a flower. I'm sure that relates to Mart. I can't actually fully remember, but the sun in the background is, you know, as I said, is solar. There's so much, the mountains, the innocence, there's so many themes that I'm playing on here now. But yeah, and is it also about killing tragedy with laughter? Like I said, is it a very playful laughing card, a jester? Because I think as well, one of the ways, the best ways to deal with dark things in life is to laugh. Have a laugh. That's why not long ago, when I was getting into a dark place, me and my partner, I think we both were sort of feeling stressed about certain things. We started watching comedy movies. We started killing tragedy with laughter. It's a beautiful thing to do, and is the Fool telling us that? Is he telling us to get back into that innocent childlike state and to laugh at life and walk gaily along with it? So there's loads there. I won't go on and on and on, but yeah, to me, seeking enlightenment, his bag's empty. As well, I can't remember the connection, but I think in a certain transcript, the Fool in old language, the F would actually be S, which would have been Sule, which actually would have meant soul. So is he indeed the soul card? And as he goes through the major arcana, you know, next is the magician, then it's the high priestess. Is he obtaining parts of his soul? Because each card, in a sense, does represent a different stage of his journey. And I do think the tarot is such a beautiful representation of anything that we experience in life can be represented in the tarot. The other thing one more thing that I want to point out is that there was I'm going to show you this picture, and when I think of the Fool, it often reminds me of this picture, and it's a Native American art piece, and I remember when I was very young just being completely awed by it, and it's this piece here. Again, to me, that looks like someone in a state of surrender to the higher forces of the universe. And to me, that's not that dissimilar than the Fool there. His arms are outstretched. The difference is he's got a bag. But yeah, I also think that Native American is indeed prayer. But is the Fool in prayer? Is he in prayer? Is his life a prayer? He doesn't need to pray. He is a prayer. That's another way to look at it. I can't help but think of the reds under his gown as being sort of reminds me of fire somehow, which again could be solar. It could be because of the burning of the sun. But yes, so much of it. It is the dog as well. Not only did I allude to Anubis, but is it actually to say that along your journey as you enter life you will have companions, and is it also to say that your companions don't also have to be humans? They can be animals. They can be nature. Does the dog actually represent nature itself? And is the dog trying to stop him from going over the cliff? That's another interesting question. Or is he indeed embracing the same mindset as the Fool? He could be. So much to think about. So much to unpack. But yeah, just thought I'd do that. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.